Nobody grows when life is easy. We grow when life hits us in the mouth. We grow when we're sitting alone in a room, broken, wondering how we got here. That's where maturity happens. That's where character is born. It's not birthdays or calendars or milestones that turn us into who we're meant to be. It's the damage, the pain, the betrayal, the failure. That's what grows us up. You think age makes you wise? No. Time just passes. Pain teaches. Struggle teaches. Every time life drops you on your face and dares you to get back up, that's the lesson. That's your university. That's your degree. That's your growth. See, maturity doesn't mean being calm all the time. It doesn't mean knowing everything. It means getting hit hard by life, but choosing not to hit back with hate. It means having every reason to quit, but choosing to stay in the fight. It means being hurt, being disappointed, being misunderstood, and still walking forward with your head up and your values intact. You don't become strong by winning all the time. You become strong by losing and getting back up, by falling and refusing to stay down, by being broken and still choosing to rebuild. Some of the most mature people you'll ever meet, they're not the ones with the degrees, not the ones with the big houses or titles. They're the ones with scars, internal scars, the kind you don't see, but you feel in their presence. Real maturity is silent. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't scream for attention. It's the man who carries his pain quietly and keeps showing up. It's the woman who's been through hell but still loves hard, still believes, still fights, still forgives. Damage forces you to grow. It demands more from you than you thought you had. And guess what? That's a good thing. It's not supposed to be easy, because if it was, everyone would be strong. But not everyone is. Some fold, some quit, some let the pain become their identity, but not you. You use the damage, you use it to shape yourself into something sharper, harder, unbreakable. You've been through things you don't talk about. You've faced storms no one saw. You've built walls to protect yourself, and now it's time to climb over them. Time to stop being ashamed of the pain. Time to use it. Time to wear it like armor. Time to let it remind you what you're made of. You ever see a sword get made? It doesn't come out beautiful, it comes out as raw metal. Then it gets heated, it gets hammered, it gets bent, burned, and beaten over and over again. That's what makes it sharp. That's what makes it deadly. That's what makes it real. And you are that sword. Every person who ever became anything, they suffered. They lost things. They lost people. They lost faith. But they didn't stay down. They didn't let the damage define them. They let it refine them. That's the difference. That's the edge. That's the reason you can't quit. You didn't come this far just to crumble. Maturity means not needing revenge, not needing to be right. It means choosing peace over pride, choosing purpose over popularity, choosing growth over comfort. It means looking in the mirror and saying, I've been through too much to let this break me. So stop waiting for life to be easy. Stop waiting for people to understand you. Stop waiting for the apology that's never coming. Grow anyway, heal anyway, rise anyway. Damage made you. Damage gave you depth. You think wisdom comes from books? No, it comes from battles. And you've been in enough to know what's real, what matters, what lasts. And now it's time to take everything you've learned and be the one who carries others. You've been the one on the ground. You've been the one hurting. But now you're the one getting up. Now you're the one moving forward. And don't ever forget, your pain is not your punishment. It's your passport. Your ticket to a life where you're not soft, not fake, not weak, but solid, durable, built different. You look around and people are smiling like nothing's wrong. But you know, you've seen behind the curtain. You've been hurt by the people who said they loved you. You've trusted people who vanished. You've given your all and got nothing back. That's not just damage. That's education. That's transformation. That's what turns a kid into a soldier. That's what turns noise into clarity. Pain makes you ask real questions. Who am I when nobody's watching? Who am I when the lights are off and the crowd's gone? Do I quit or do I continue? Do I use this pain or let it use me? And maturity, real maturity, is answering those questions with action, with discipline, with defiance. It's saying, yeah, this hurt me, but it didn't finish me. See, some people age into bitterness, others age into wisdom. And the difference? What they did with their damage. Some built walls, others built muscle. Some gave up, others leveled up. You ever think about how pressure creates diamonds? That's not a metaphor, that's fact. Carbon, same stuff you got in your bones, gets crushed and heated over time. And it doesn't just survive, it becomes something rare, something valuable, something unbreakable. You want to shine? Go through the pressure. You want to grow? Go through the damage. You were lied to. You were told you'd grow up. Everything would make sense. People would treat you right. Life would be fair. They never told you about the heartbreak, the losses, the betrayals, the nights when you'd cry with your fist in your mouth to stay silent. But that's what matured you. You had to figure it out the hard way. That's why your mind's sharp now. That's why your energy is different. That's why people feel something when you walk into a room. You're not here to impress. You're here to impact. You've been shaped by pain. And now pain can't touch you the same way it used to. They say time heals all wounds. That's not true. Time just gives you space to decide who you want to be because of those wounds. And that's a decision you make every damn day. You wake up with the scars. You move with the weight. But you don't let it stop you. You might be tired, but you're still walking. You might be hurting, but you're still working. You might be broken, but you're building anyway. That's growth. That's maturity. So don't envy the person who's never been through anything. They haven't met themselves yet. You've been tested. You've been humbled. You've been refined. You've stared down rock bottom and decided to stand anyway. You're not soft. You're not fragile. You're not lost. You're becoming. Every bruise, every setback, every breakdown, that's your curriculum. That's your syllabus. You're earning your wisdom the hard way. And there's no other way that lasts. You want strength? Get damaged. You want wisdom? Get humbled. You want maturity? Go through some things. Cry if you have to. Break if you must. But don't you dare stay down. This life doesn't owe you anything. It's not going to pause because you're tired. It's not going to apologize because you got hurt. But if you keep moving, if you keep learning, if you keep growing, it will respect you. Eventually, you will become unshakable. The version of you that's coming, that version doesn't flinch. That version doesn't complain. That version doesn't fold. That version stands in the storm with a calm face and steady breath, because they've already been through worse and survived. You didn't get here because life was nice to you. You got here because you endured. You persisted. You figured it out when nothing made sense. You matured by damage, and that's what makes you dangerous. People think strength is loud, but real strength, real maturity, it's quiet. It doesn't scream, it doesn't post, it doesn't beg for attention. It just shows up. every single day. No matter the pain, no matter who left, no matter how tired, it shows up. That's what the damage do. They don't see the nights you didn't sleep, the days you didn't eat, the moments you swallowed your pride just to keep peace in the room. They don't see how you held your world together when it was falling apart in your hands. But you see it, you lived it, and it made you someone they could never understand. Damage doesn't ruin you, it reveals you. It takes away the fake, the soft, the surface level. It makes you real, it makes you raw, and raw is where all the power lives. Because when you've been stripped of everything and you're still standing, there's nothing left to fear. That's where your maturity begins. When you mature through pain, you stop begging. You stop chasing validation. You stop trying to explain yourself to people who don't want to understand. You just move. You make your circle smaller, your goals bigger, and your excuses non-existent. You start holding yourself accountable for everything, your healing, your success, your peace. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." You stop waiting for motivation and start showing up because it's what has to be done. That's how you mature, and guess what? When you mature through damage, you don't trust the easy way. You don't crave comfort, you crave clarity. You crave results, you crave truth, and you know by now, truth is rarely comfortable. You stop trying to be liked, you aim to be respected, by yourself first, because you remember what it took to get here. You remember the days you couldn't get out of bed. You remember the conversations you had with yourself in the dark. You remember what it felt like to be doubted, dismissed, discarded, and you made it anyway. You walk different now, not because you think you're better, but because you've been through things most people can't even imagine. You've learned to sit with pain without numbing it. You've learned to love people without losing yourself. You've learned to trust your gut when your heart and mind are at war. That's maturity. And you're not done yet. There's more pain coming. That's just how life works. But now, you're prepared. You know that damage isn't the end, it's the beginning. Every time you break, you build back stronger. Every time you fall, you rise with more wisdom. You're not afraid of storms anymore. You are the storm. So don't hold back. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for how far you've come or how much it took to get here. Don't play small just to fit back into places you've outgrown. You're not who you used to be. You've earned this edge. You've earned this fire. And when you walk into a room, you bring something with you. A presence, a weight, a stillness. That's the damage, that's the experience, that's the work. Let the pain shape you, let it sharpen you. Let it teach you how to rise with grace and fight with purpose. Let it build you into someone that even your younger self wouldn't recognize. Not because you changed, but because you became. You look back and realize it was the damage that gave you direction. You were lost until life hurt you. You didn't know your strength until you were forced to survive. You didn't know your voice until silence became too loud. You didn't know your purpose until the pain cracked you open and left you bleeding with no choice but to rebuild. And rebuilding isn't beautiful. It's messy, it's lonely, it's slow, but it's real. You pick up your pieces with shaky hands. You glue yourself together with grit, and you stand, bent, bruised, but standing. That's what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. That's what turns damage into destiny. Let them laugh, let them doubt, let them talk. You don't need to prove anything. Your scars say enough. Your presence says enough. Your silence says everything. Because when you've healed from things that should have broken you, you don't speak from ego, you speak from experience. And maturity is choosing to walk away, not because you're weak, but because you value peace. It's setting boundaries, not to control others, but to protect yourself. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent, when to give and when to guard, when to fight and when to let it go. You don't owe explanations for your evolution. Not everyone deserves access to the version of you that took years of pain to build. Protect that. Protect your progress. You worked too damn hard for it. The damage taught you that most people love the version of you they can use, but maturity taught you to love yourself enough to stop shrinking just to fit in. You stopped chasing approval. You stopped lowering your standards just to feel less alone. You stopped answering calls from people who only dial when they need something. That's growth. Maturity is forgiving people who will never say sorry. It's letting go of people you still love but know are no good for your future. It's learning that closure isn't something they give you. It's something you decide. You don't need their apology to move on. You don't need their validation to be enough. You are enough, fully, right now, as you are. Because all those nights you wanted to quit and didn't, all those mornings you didn't want to wake up but did, all those times you showed up when you were hurting, that counts. That counts more than anyone will ever know. And the thing about maturing through damage is that you stop faking it. You stop pretending to be okay when you're not. You stop numbing your pain with distractions. You sit with it. You learn from it. You grow through it. And maybe you're still healing. That's okay. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you're flying. Other days you're crawling. Some mornings you wake up feeling unstoppable. Others you barely move. That's the journey. Don't rush it. Don't shame it. Just keep showing up. Because no one ever became powerful by being comfortable. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You get stronger by walking through the fire and realizing you didn't burn, you forged. You didn't break, you became unbreakable. And now you know. You know what matters. You know what you want. You know who you are. And no one can take that from you. So if you've been through hell and kept going, hold your head high. You've earned every step forward. You've earned the right to be proud of your progress. And you've earned the future you're building. Brick by broken brick. We mature by damage, not by age. So wear your pain like armor. Let your scars be your story. And when someone asks how you got so wise, so calm, so strong, just smile. They wouldn't understand. And they're not supposed to understand. Because this path you walked, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't easy. It wasn't made for spectators. This was forged in silence, in solitude, in the dark. This wasn't handed to you. It was earned, every inch of it. Earned in the sweat nobody saw, in the tears nobody wiped, in the nights you screamed into a pillow and still woke up the next day and got to work. They don't understand that you didn't just survive what tried to break you. You built something out of it. You turned your wounds into wisdom. You turned rejection into redirection. You turned pain into power, and now you move different. You think different. Because damage doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. You're not bitter, you're wiser. You're not broken, you're battle-tested. You're not cold. You're just no longer soft for the people who never deserved your warmth. And the beauty of damage is this: you learn what matters. You don't chase things that don't serve you anymore. You don't beg to be seen. You don't get involved in drama. Why? Because you've been through real battles, and real pain puts things into perspective. Fast. You've stopped talking so much, not because you don't have things to say, but because you've realized words mean less than action. And most people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. So now, you observe more. You protect your peace. You move with purpose. And maturity? It shows in your decisions. You walk away instead of explode. You reflect before reacting. You choose growth, not grudges. You pick discipline over desire. You chase excellence, not attention. That's not age. That's damage doing its work. You understand now that every wound taught you something. The betrayal taught you to trust yourself. The rejection taught you to validate yourself. The loneliness taught you to be your own friend. The heartbreak taught you how to love without losing yourself. Every painful lesson added a brick to your foundation. And now you're standing on a life you built, not a life you were given, not one you copied, one you earned, the hard way. And yeah, sometimes it still hurts. Some memories still sting, but you don't run from that anymore. You don't numb it. You don't drown it in distractions. You face it. You use it. You look at that pain and say, "Thanks for the lesson. I needed that." Because you did. You needed the storm to find your strength. You needed the silence to hear your truth. You needed the pressure to uncover your potential. You needed to lose some things to find what's real. So now you walk with a fire in your chest. Calm, but not soft. Humble, but not timid. Grateful, but never desperate. You've matured in a way most people never will. Not because of time, but because of tests. You've been tested, and you passed. And now? Now you show others how it's done. You become the example. Not by shouting it, but by living it. By walking with dignity. By being a solid presence in a world full of noise. By standing firm in your values when everything around you is fake. That's power. That's maturity. So if you've taken damage, good. That means life tried to stop you and failed. That means you've been in the arena. You've faced your demons. You've made it this far. And that means you've got something most people never find: unshakable self-respect. Let the world keep chasing comfort. You chase purpose. Let them avoid pain. You absorb it and convert it into growth. Let them stay stuck in patterns. You break cycles. You build a legacy. Because you don't just age. You evolve. You transform. You rise. And it all started the moment life hit you, and you refused to stay down. We mature by damage, not by age. If you've ever wondered about the real story behind this channel, how I went from struggling and lost to motivating thousands of people every single day, now's your chance to hear it. I've shared my full journey, all the ups and downs, in a special audio and PDF just for you. If you want to get inspired and learn how I turned my life around, check out the link in the pinned comment. Your breakthrough might be just one story away.